Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Absolutely Not podcast. I'm your host, Heather McMahan. How are you? Hope you're well. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, I got a cozy sweatshirt on. Shout out to my girl, Margot at Ghost Dyes. She made me 100 of these sweatshirts that are custom. I'm wearing a pair of blue light blocking glasses that are supposed to make me look a little bit more intelligent. And apparently, I'm trying to block out the blue light because I'm working on my circadian rhythm. All right, I've been stressed to the max. I am not sleeping. When I tell you, a trazodone used to take your girl out, and don't take them all the time at all. But I've been taking Trazzies recently because I'm on the road and it's just hard for me to turn my brain off at night. And they started doing the opposite. Now, I don't know if that's a usual thing. I know some people have an adverse reaction to Benadryl. Like a Benadryl knocks my ass out. And some people, next thing you know, you're rollerblading through Central Park. But I've been doing all this stuff on like how to, lower your cortisol, work on your sleep, and you're not supposed to look at anything on a screen, blue light, nothing. You can't look at the TikToks. You can't check the Instagrams. You're not supposed to even have the TV on about an hour before you go to bed. Now, it is 4:30 in the afternoon as I record this, and I am putting these on just to, block out the haters, just to have a moment. These aren't fucking working. Like, what are we doing? They're not even blue. So I don't see a difference when I put them up to my eye in front of my screen or not. So whatever. Another thing I've gotten bamboozled on. Yo, when I tell you my nighttime routine is so intense right now. I've been doing the magnesium on the feet, the magnesium spray, and then I put the socks on. But right now I'm taking a sleepy time tea, magnesium glycinate. Then I'm doing a moon juice calming supplement that's got a bunch of other types of magnesium. I'm taking a cortisol manager that's got valerian root in it. It's supposed to bring you down. I'm also taking my Armor colostrum, not sponsored, but I'll tell you what, that Armor colostrum is no fucking joke. I mean, knock on wood, not trying to jinx myself, but for the amount of shit I've done and for the amount of places I've been and for being around the amount of people with the active flu that I have been around, I should be dead. So I've been taking that every night. I make my cocktail. I am taking inositol, which is good for fertility, and it's good to also work on the hormones. I'm trying the blue light blocking. I'm trying to read. For fuck's sake, I'm reading at night. Now, I bought a couple new books on TikTok that are not great. They're good books, but they're too scary to read at night because they're about how America's crumbling. So put those to the side. My buddy Brian Kelly has a great new book. I'm reading his book, How to Win and Travel, which is fantastic. So I'm trying to really have happy thoughts before bed. I watch an episode of White Lotus or Traders, happy thoughts. Then that hour before, I take all my pills, I take all the supplements, all the powders, I mix them up, I wolf it down, I spray the magnesium on the feet, I put on the socks, I make the room ice cold, I've got a Frenchie on my pillow, one in between my legs, Jeff is over there, I'm mouth taping. What else am I doing? I've got about 8 more things. I have my filter on that makes a nice little buzzing sound, and then I lay there and I cannot fall asleep. The amount of supplements that I am on, I should not be able to operate a vehicle. I should be in a medically induced coma for the amount of things that I have taken to relax and calm myself. I do a hot shower. I'm covering myself with oils. I'm starting to do a little castor oil in the belly button because they said that's good for you. It'll make you shit great the next day. But even the castor oil gets in my system and I am perked the fuck up. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'll tell you what I'm doing wrong. I'll tell you what. I had an epiphany the other day. I don't know how much of this information y'all care about, what you need to hear, whatever. But I realized the other day that when it comes to doing things for myself, to myself, I always fuck them up. And I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is. I don't know what that's about. Like, I came home the other day from the Kansas City show, which was so much fun, by the way, which we'll get into. But I had this moment where I was like hysterical to Jeff. I'm like, I fucked up IVF. I had to do it multiple times. I'm probably going to have a slight revision to my neck because something isn't settling right. So I was trying to carve out 2 weeks in the schedule to do that. So my self-esteem is in the tanker on that one. So I'm like between, anytime I do anything for myself, like whether it's self-improvement, self-help, I'm being selfish, I'm taking time for myself, I'm going to do this for me. I fuck it up. And in these both cases, I don't know how much I necessarily fucked it up. Like, was it user error? The neck, no. I was a perfect patient. But it's like my body is so wound up tight that it just won't allow things to happen. Like IVF took so fucking long because my hormones were fucked up. This neck thing, I'm gonna, at this point, I should just go on the Swan Makeover. Remember the Swan Makeover? The best show ever? They'd have brides that would, I think Terry Dubrow was on that show. Dr. Terry Dubrow from Botched. Basically what would happen was, like 6 months before your wedding, they'd take real uggos, God bless them, and they would give you they'd fix your face. They'd do a rhinoplasty. You get veneers. You get hair plugs. You get 360 lipo. You would do all this shit, and then you would never see yourself. And the day that you were revealed your own reflection and your reflection to your spouse was the day you were walking down the aisle to get married. It was the Swan Makeover. And that show used to fucking slap. And when I tell you when you look back at episodes, you think, how fucked up and toxic could this show be? Very toxic. Awful. We basically told women, you're such a troll. But here's the thing. They weren't really trolls because they still found somebody to love them. So we never took that into consideration. There's plenty of like typical real grade A babes out there who are single. So I don't know why we made these women do all this shit to themselves, because guess what? They still had a man. You know what I mean? Somebody was willing to love them. So why were we telling these women they had to do all this shit? Because we're sick in the head. We're sick in the head. So I come home and just like, how was your weekend? I was like, it was great. Why can't anything work out for me personally? And he's like, all right, I have no room to complain in any other aspect of my life. I love my job. I love my friends. My family's healthy, thank God. Like we're cruising. But for some reason, when it comes to me, I'm like the last person I think about. And that's not, I don't want to say like, I'm so selfless. I'm so philanthropic. I'm out there volunteering in soup kitchens all day. That's why I just don't take care of me. That's not the case, okay? I'm doing comedy. It's still a very selfish job because I'm like, everybody come to a theater, look at me, tell me I'm pretty, and laugh at how funny I am. But regardless, there's something, I don't know if it's a form of self-sabotage. I don't know if it's just like bad luck. When it comes to me doing things for myself, it always takes 2 or 3 tries. I'm about to get back on the semaglutides, the medicines, because I saw my doctor and he's like, you porked right back up. I can't. That's where I'm at. It's a little bit of self-loathing, self-hatred. Let's figure this out. But also, there's a lot of self-confidence in there too. I don't know if anybody else is feeling like this. It's like we do a lot of things for other people, and I'm good at giving parts of myself out, but I am not good at just taking care of myself. So anyways, that's where I'm at. Full breakdown. And it was on International Women's Day. And Jeff's like, you are beautiful. I'm like, it has nothing to do with what I look like right now. It's just that I try and take time to do things for myself, and then somehow they get fucked up, and then it's a vicious cycle. So anyways, that's where I'm at. How are you guys? I know. I'm fucking eye rolling myself. Let's talk about Kansas City. What a dick tease on the BBQs. All right. We got into town and I didn't want to eat the barbecue before the show. Hear me out. I wanted a little bit of a lighter lunch. Didn't want to have the burnt ends and then have it coming out my burnt ends on stage in a mini skirt. I didn't want to do that. So I thought, wise, sensible, smart, good girl, Heather. You know, if you eat a bunch of barbecue, a bunch of pulled pork, beef ribs, whatever, the mac and cheese, the bananas, cream pie, whatever. If you really do it right, the way you want to do it with a cold beer before the show, you're not going to be able to perform at peak performance. Again, selfless thinking of y'all. Okay, I didn't want to crop dust the front row. I didn't want to do that. So I waited. And then by the time we got out and everybody had sent really thoughtful, smart suggestions, we called every single place right before the show started to be like, hey, can we get a plate? Can we stay open? Like, are you guys going to be open? Da, da, da. Nowhere stayed open. By the time we got out of the theater, I think it was like 10:45. Nowhere stayed open. So you know where I tried some Kansas City barbecue, which they need the credit for this. The Delta Sky Club at the Kansas City airport had the best barbecue ribs I have ever had. It was pork, it was zesty, it was tangy, it had a nice little kick, had a gorgeous scallion on top. It fell off the bone, finger licking good. Shout out to the Delta Sky Club and KC, baby. I didn't know I was going to get my burnt ends in the Sky Club, but I did, and it was delicious. Tina and I had exactly 3.5 minutes before we were about to board. And because the Kansas City airport's fairly new, which, round of applause, one of the best airports I've ever been to. Efficient, all local mom and pop shops. In the concession area, great sit-down restaurants, really phenomenal. The way they had TSA and security spread across the front made sense. No congestion. Just really well thought out airport. But we had 3 minutes before we were about to board, and I said, we got to see the Sky Club because, that just tickles my pickle. So we ran up there. I mean, dude, they had like a smoking deck. It was good vibes. Music was playing, and they put out a fresh thing of ribs. And if you don't think I put 6 of those bad boys down the throat before I got on my flight home, you must not know me. It was phenomenal. So while I'm disappointed. Also, I just want to throw this out there. If you're Kansas City and you're known for your BBQ, how is there not a late night spot that can serve you some burnt ends at a drive-thru? And maybe there is. But I really thought I was going to get that tomahawk steak with the side of the ribs and then the pulled pork and then the platter and the thing. And I did it in the Sky Club. But either way, it was delicious. But let's talk about the show. When I tell you, such a great audience, so much fun. And, Kansas City was one of those places. I remember last time I played there, everyone was pretty drunk. So I remember walking off stage going, that was a tougher show because everyone was so hammered. But man, y'all really showed up and showed out. I was completely overwhelmed when I came out on stage. Such an amazing audience. And it's fun because I didn't know how far I could push it with some of the new material. So I was kind of like editing on stage. I was trying this and I was like, all right, Missouri can handle this. Okay, Missouri can go there. Okay, Missouri likes how filthy that was or whatever it was. And I was very impressed with y'all. So just know, Kansas City, I love you. I mean it. That was such a fun show. I got to give a big shout out to a guy named Kane. I didn't interact with him during the show, but he was at the meet and greet afterwards. He's an older gentleman. I believe he was there with his daughter, Grace. And I thought they were a couple. And then he was like, no, this is my daughter. But Grace spoke up at the meet and greet. And I hope it's Grace. I think it was Grace. Grace was like, my dad's been listening to your podcast since the pandemic. He loves you. He's like, hey, I'm a big CEO. He's like a real businessman. And he was like, but I listen to sports podcasts and news, and then I love Absolutely Not. It's just a hoot. And I said, you just said hoot. Get backstage and let me give you a kiss. But Kane was just amazing, and I got to meet his daughter. It was awesome. And I would just want to put this out there. Are there any older gentlemen, 50 and up, who listen to this podcast? Please call into the hotline. Absolutely yes to having a couple gray hair zaddies that love the Absolutely Not podcast. I'll show you my boobs. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you really listen? He was chiming off on all the bits. He knew. He's a tiramisu, bitch. He knew. So I was just really impressed with the fact that Kane was dialed in. And talk about a sugar cane of a man. Just an angel. There was also this guy in the front row all the way to my right, this older gentleman. I was doing a bit with his wife. He was having the time of his life. And I was like, I love to see when the guys come to the shows and they just have a great time. Fills me with a lot of joy. And just a lot of cool boyfriends and husbands that were there. It was a really great vibe in the audience. And I wore my Travis Kelce jersey because, see, what had happened was I kept getting DMs from Taylor Swift saying that she needed some help because her credit card had gotten stolen. And she was like, hey, I'm trying to come to your show in Kansas City. Do you mind Venmoing me a couple grand? My credit card's not working. I was like, yeah, no problem. Like, I know your private jet. I don't want you to be stuck wherever you are. So I started Venmoing her money. And then when I looked at the account, I got out on stage. I was like, hey, where is Taylor in the audience? And then she wasn't there. And then after the show, I looked at the account and she didn't have a blue check mark. So I sent a bunch of money to somebody else. So that was a disappointment. So stupid. No, I wanted to wear the jersey to just give a little bit, maybe I wanted it to be encouraging to the Chiefs, but it might have been a bit more of a kick in the dick, salt in the wound, if you will, that they didn't win. But I said they had a real shocker of a season this year. 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. They won 2, they lost 1. This was the thumb up the butt year. It is what it is. But sometimes you need a little surprise. Sometimes you need a little shocker to remind you who you are and what you're about and what you like and don't like. But I put the jersey on and I was like, God, this thing's a little snug. And I thought to myself, I asked for an extra large. And I thought, there's no way that Travis Kelce, I'm sure he's an extra large. There's no way this fits this man. I mean, I'm probably the same size as him girth-wise because he's very in shape. But I was back there like kind of trying to stretch out the jersey. And then I was sweating during that show. I'm like, this thing is really bodycon. I took it off and I looked and it was a large. So if I looked like sausage and casing on stage in that jersey, I'm sorry, Kansas City. It was a size too small, but I did my best. But yeah, we had a great time. We giggled. We just had a blast. So life is good, but I don't know who needs a reminder of if you've got to take a little time for yourself to get your shit together, do it. Do what you got to do. But I have felt like a real failure in my own life for myself. I feel like I can show up for other people or I can show up to do my job, which I know people rely on me for. Like I feel like when it comes to that, I can do it. But for some reason, when it comes to me showing up for myself, I can't do it. Or I just fuck it up or I half-ass it or I don't know. I'm trying to change the narrative. Ray said, you got to put good energy around your thoughts and feelings towards yourself right now. And I said, you're absolutely right. I have to put positive energy around it or I'll, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I have to put positive energy around this. But are the actual scientific facts there that somehow when I try and do something to better myself physically, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally, it gets fucked up and I have to do it multiple times to see the results? Yeah, that is for sure true. But we're going to put positive energy around it. Let's put the blue light blocking glasses back on. They're not doing anything. I think you're just getting a glare on the YouTubes now. What else? Oh my God. Okay. I have not given y'all the update on the Vanity Fair party. So last week I had Sam Morrell on, who's a dear friend and a great comic. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. But I have not touched base with you on everything. Okay. Did a fabulous week with Jenna on the Today Show. And she is such a dream. And we got to go to dinner. And I feel very blessed that I have a newfound friendship with Jenna because she's very cool. I met her twin sister, Barbara. We had a great time. They're like, you got to run for office. I said, girls, I'm thinking about it. Anyways, new buds. So we had a great time. And the production crew at the Today Show is phenomenal. Just everybody who is there, boots on the ground, doing the voodoo that they do at the Today Show is incredible. So I had a really fun week. Now, was it exhausting? It was absolutely exhausting. Because remember, I'm a nighttime girl. So I was already battling with my sleep paralysis where I'm not going to sleep. And then we're having to do activities every night or I'm having to go do podcasting or other interviews. So it wasn't like my day was just cocooned or bookended in the hours of the Today Show. It was like Today Show stopped and then I was off to the races doing other shit, promoting the cruise, doing all this, promoting the tour, all the bullshit that you have to do to keep the other things afloat. No pun intended. So I was worn slick. So Friday came, we had already shot an episode on Thursday. So Friday came, I did a podcast with Sam, and then I went to go meet Ray for lunch. Well, my two dear friends, Katie and Mary, surprised me. I knew Mary was coming up. I had no idea that Katie was coming up. So she shows up. I walk into Ruby Rosa. Tina's with me, and they've got Aperol spritzes on the table. And I just look over and I see more Aperol spritzes than humans that are present in our group. And I look over and see my dearest friend Katie. And she is the Charlotte to our friendship group. Like just angel. She is secretly the funniest friend I have. Her zingers are out of fucking control. And I was so excited because Katie doesn't get time away from her kids enough. And she was like, I'm here. And I was like, fuck yes. So Katie is my girlfriend where I can take gummies with her and we just take it to another level. So we are giggling. We're drinking Aperol spritzes. It felt like such a nice little bow on the end of the week. And we had a great fucking time. We go out that night, but let me tell you what. So Ray is on the pulse of all the places to go in New York. He knows we're going to the Nines, we're going to this bar, we're going to that bar. And we have a friend who is very well connected in New York City. I'm talking like very well connected. Represents one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. So she called on our behalf to get into all of these places. I'm like, well, the girlies are in town from Atlanta. We haven't had a night out in New York City in a really long time. Let's go tear it up. First of all, we went to the corner store, and which is the spot, right? It's where Taylor Swift was photographed all summer or all winter. Going to the corner store, phenomenal service, great food. They really took care of us. We had a great night there. So we get there, and I'm like, okay, all right, we're in, right? First stop, I'm showing the girls in Atlanta. We're at the corner store, the spot. Maybe Taylor Swift's gonna roll through the spot, and she wasn't there. That's fine. Then, so we leave there, we go to this first club, right? It's in between the club. So we're at the I don't know, it's like a cocktail bar, but it's definitely still a club because they got a doorman and you got to get in and you have to have a table and the whole thing. But it's only like, I don't know, 8 p.m. About 9:45 at this point. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to be able to get you in for at least an hour and a half. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, that's not going to work. So I go up and I'm like, have you checked the list? Last name's McMahan. And they're like, yeah, no. And Ray's like, shut up. He's like, my name carries more weight at these clubs than yours does because I actually come to them. I was like, okay, Ray, step up to the plate. And they're like, Padilla, you know. So then I tell Katie, I'm like, Katie, just go up and say Cunningham and see what they do. And they're like, so yeah, we don't have any room for you guys, but we suggest you go to our other club. Now, we had a reservation at the Nines, which is like the place to go. So we stop at the Bowery Hotel, one of our favorite spots. We get a quick drink. The gummy for me is hit. So I'm like, I just think I need a club soda. So I don't make things weird. And then we have a quick drink and then we're walking over to the Nines. I'm feeling it, right? I've got a leather skirt on. I've got tall boots. I'm feeling the vibe. I'm dressed up. It was a successful week. This is going to be the cherry on top. We get to the Nines. And again, they're like, you're not on the list. Now, Ray goes here all the time. I don't know if him showing up with like 4 what I think is very attractive women did a disservice to us getting into this club or what. I don't know if they just read like everyone's close to 40. I don't know what the energy was. But this gal comes out and she's like, yeah, I'm going to have to talk to somebody inside. And then she goes inside and then this fabulous guy comes out and he's like, here's the deal. I'm getting y'all in tonight. I'm getting y'all in. And we're name dropping our very famous friend. We're name dropping her publicist, my publicist. He's like, okay, so here's the deal. We can get you in at, what time is it now? It's 10. It's 10:15. We can get you in at 12:45. Literally, I was like, that's not going to work. You don't understand. See, I have a very regimented sleep routine. At about an hour before I go to bed, I got to make sure that there's no blue light. I got to make sure I take my magnesium. I got to take my Armor colostrum so I'll shit fresh in the morning. Then I got to put castor oil in my belly button. Then I got to spray the magnesium all over my feet and put on my warm socks. That's not going to work. And I got to make sure I get back to the hotel in time. So I set the degrees in my hotel room down to at least 64. So that way it feels like a nice meat locker so that I can cool my core body temp. And then about 10 minutes before bed, I usually take another gummy and a cortisol manager so I can really bring down my internal energy with some good ashwagandha and valerian root. And this guy was like, yes, so I didn't need all that information. So is it a yes or a no? And we were like, we'll be back. 12:45. Yes, if I didn't have to get on a flight the next day at 9 a.m., I would have been back at 12:45 with my tits out, my top off, smoking a menthol. The young girls were outside hitting their vapes, doing their thing. I was ready to go. I was like, my girls came up. We were going to have a night, and they just kept pushing it. At 12:45? No, I want a table at 11. And then if I get fucked up enough, then we're hanging till 2. But if I'm arriving at 12:45 when there's nobody else in line, what are we doing here? So a very quick, humbling moment. Get back to the hotel. I'm packing up my shit. I have to fly the next day to LA to go to the Oscars. And I was excited to go because I wasn't doing the red carpet. I had already worked for NBC that entire week. I had no journalistic obligations that weekend. I'm like Zuri, Kelty, the whole crew, they're holding it down, fucking crushing it. I'm off. Mama is off. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the Oscars and just really enjoy myself. I wake up that Saturday morning and I took a shower, washed my face, brushed my teeth, did my routine. Did not even kind of look in the mirror because I was so exhausted. Did not look in the mirror to see exactly what was happening on my face. There were, at our hotel was a very successful hot hockey team that was getting on their bus. Okay. So I want you to imagine, I think how many people are on a hockey roster? There's about 30 of the most gorgeous men you've ever seen, international lovers, if you will, getting on their bus that morning to go out to Long Island where they were playing the game. Okay. And if you know anything about me, I love hockey and rugby players. Fuck football. Okay. I'm on Irish rugby team TikTok right now and it is fire. Anywho, so I walk outside and there's fans lined up at like 8 o'clock in the morning trying to get photos and pictures with these guys as they're getting on their bus. My car pulls up and I don't have my sunglasses on and I turn around and I'm like, hi, like they're so good looking. I get in the car and I notice that the guy helping me with my bags kind of looked at me funny. I get in the car and I don't think anything of it, but I open my camera to look at Instagram and immediately, the camera pulls up in stories like as if I'm going to do a story. Y'all, my entire face is covered in eczema. It looks like somebody threw acid on my face. My eye is crusted over. It is red. It is irritated. It's going down my neck. And I'm not exaggerating. Like I have been an eczema warrior survivor victim since birth, okay? But I know how to maintain my eczema. I've never had it on my face like this. Eyes crusted over, red, like boiling. It hurts. I don't know how I didn't pick up on this morning. So meanwhile, I'm standing outside in front of these hockey players waiting on my car trying to put out the vibe when I look like the fucking crypt keeper. I look like what's his name from the Goonies. Like my eye was swollen and the fold was like melting into the top of my nose. It was terrible. So I get to the Delta One Sky Club at the airport. There's no one there because it's early morning and I'm panicked. I'm like Googling, what do I take? So I think Tina was like, dude, take 2 Benadryl. She lives off Benadryl. And I'm like, all right, I'm taking 2 Benadryl. Hadn't taken 2 in a minute. So I'm thinking, all right, I've got to fly to LA. I'm going to land in LA, go right to my hotel, get in glam for this night before the Oscars party. We're in the pods up front because when you fly from New York to LA, they always have the pods, which I love. So Isabella Rossellini is sitting across from me. So the setup is 1 on the window, 2, and 1. So I'm in my pod, and as soon as I get on that flight, before we even take off, I'm like out. I recline. I'm out for the whole flight. Like clearly my body shut down. I don't know if this is stress eczema, if I'm having an allergic reaction, if I took too many gummies, if it was just sheer my body's outward protection because I had been denied from a nightclub twice that night. Like, I don't know what was happening, but internally, all the rot, fear, anxiety, and self-loathing had just projected itself through my skin onto my face. So I lay down. I wake up 4 hours later, about, I don't know, an hour before we land, to this. Like that deep sleep, that deep nap. And that's the thing is I can take a deep fucking nap. Oh, I can nap like a motherfucker. My naps are the equivalent of a bear going to hibernate for 3 months. You give me 2-hour nap, I'm coming out like that is my REM sleep. But I can't get REM sleep during the night. So we're going to have to figure that out later. Any scientists, doctors, or sleep people, please, by all means, let me know. I am laying there on this flight and I wake myself up because I go like a snarl snore. And I already know I'm a snorer. I don't have sleep apnea. Everybody fucking relax. Maybe I do. Jeff's been checked for it 3 times at the sleep studies, the clinics, and he does not have it either. But he's not a snorer. But I was in such a deep sleep. And Jeff always says, he's like, you snore when I know you're exhausted. When you're exhausted, it's like another level. So I wake myself up and the first person I look at is Isabella Rossellini. If you don't know who she is, well, first of all, she's in the Conclave. She's one of the greatest actresses of all time. She's an icon, a queen, absolute joy to watch on screen. And so she's flying to LA for the Oscars as well because, the Conclave's nominated. She looks at me, the guy across to my left looks at me, and everyone's just kind of like, are you good? Thank God you're alive because you've been doing this for the last 4.5 fucking hours. So that feeling when you're like, I snored on this plane? Or like when you're sleeping over at a guy's house and you've just started sleeping there and you do that thing where you jump in your sleep because you think you're falling and then you're like embarrassed that you jumped. Because you're like, this is embarrassing. Like things you do in your sleep are embarrassing. They are. Nobody talks about it, but it's embarrassing. So I look at Isabella Rossellini and I'm just like, I am so sorry. I don't know if I was snoring, if I was farting. Like, I don't know what was happening. But either way, I'm sure it was a very theatrical 4-hour nap that I just took. So flash forward, I see her at the Vanity Fair party. She's beautiful. She has this gorgeous flowing dress. And she just, kind of smiles at me. And I just said, I'm sorry. I just kept walking. I didn't know what else to say. Because I don't think she necessarily recognized me. Because remember when I was on the flight, I was covered like a turtle. It was just like a turtle shell of eczema across my face. So she definitely did not recognize me in glam. But I just said sorry to Isabella Rossellini. And I just kept going. I didn't know what else to do. And I really tucked my tail as I was getting my stuff out of the overhead, and I was put on my sunglasses and I put on a hood, not because I was worried about anybody recognizing me. I was just that mortified and embarrassed. I didn't know what my body had been putting forth on that first class cabin for the 4 hours that I went to LAX. Now I know what you're thinking. You probably thought, ding, 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 Heather, if Benadryl knocks you out, just take Benadryl. Well, my friends, apparently Benadryl and taking those antihistamines can lead to dementia. They said it's something like a 46% chance increase that you'll end up with some sort of memory loss later in life. And we already know that your girl's got brain fog and ADHD. I mean, I'm at the point right now where I feel so scatterbrained, I'm not able to finish my sentences. The other day I had to look for words. I was like, what am I talking about? Whom am I talking to? What is this about? I'm like, banana? Jeff's like, yes, banana. That's what's in your hand. You're holding a banana. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we can't be on Benny's long term. Wait, do we? And here's why I don't think I have sleep apnea. Hear me out. Sleep apnea is not, my dad had it, and Jeff's been tested for it multiple times. It's not the failure to fall asleep. I have the failure to fall asleep. I think it's because my brain's a little squirrely right now. I'm stressed out. Once I'm asleep, I'm down. But it's that initial getting there into the REM. It's the closing the doors, blacking out the curtains. It's closing up shop at night for my brain is really difficult. Let's look up those sleep apnea in women symptoms. Okay. I don't need another fucking thing. Loud snoring, okay? Gasping or choking during sleep. Daytime sleepiness, yep. Fatigue, okay. Dry mouth, not necessarily, but I have a great oral routine. Morning headaches, Difficulty concentrating, yep. Irritability. Oh my God, additional symptoms, more common in women. Weight gain. hot flashes, restless leg syndrome. Oh my God. Anxiety. Oh my God. Depression, increased risk of heart disease and stroke. Frequent urination at night. I have that. Chest pain. No. Palpitations. No. Hallucinations. No. Oh no. I'm going to have to seek help soon. Oh no. Oh, I swear to God right now, if I have to get a sleep apnea machine, I have to move. I have to move homes because my issues have so become what my father's issues were. I'm about to crawl out of my skin right now. This might be me. I might have sleep apnea. But let's see. Is sleep apnea hard to fall asleep? I feel like that's not it. Let's see what AI has to say. Women with sleep apnea may experience difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. Oh, I have sleep apnea, I bet. You know who does not get laid? A woman in a sleep apnea suit or the things. My dad had to carry a CPAP machine everywhere he went. And he finally started getting great sleep. I am built like my dad. I have a lipoma on my spine right now that has to get surgically removed that my dad used to get. My neck is so fucking thick, they're going to have to do it twice, like my father. I think we have to move. Jeff is not going to want to hear it because it's not in the financial plan, but I think we have to move homes. I think all of this energy, we need to start from scratch. I'm looking at a photo to my left-hand side of me and my dad. I think, Dad, you have cursed me. I've got to go. I'm in your old office. I sleep in my old room. Like, I think we got to go. Fuck me. I might have sleep apnea. Fuck. You might have trouble concentrating. Yes, that's me. Oh, fuck. Or if there's any gals out there that are still getting laid, whether you're married or not, sleeping with a CPAP machine, let me know. Wow. And of course, men with sleep apnea, they fall asleep right away. They fall asleep in the chair. The reason my dad figured out he had sleep apnea is he was driving home from work one day. And my dad was like me in the sense too, like our hours. My dad ran his own company, very successful. He would stay up till 2 or 3 in the evening, do work, do his thing, and he would not go into his office till 11 o'clock or noon. And I know that sounds insane, but he was like, I'm the boss. These are my hours that I work, right? That's just like what he would do. And he'd work from noon to 6, leave the office later. We'd all have an 8 o'clock dinner, and I would stay up and like watch X-Files and Suits and Burn Notice with him. And he would get high. I didn't know it at the time. He was high, and then I was also high on a gummy, and we would just eat French onion dip and the really good classic Lay's together in the kitchen and drink Diet Coke. So my God. Okay. So I have sleep apnea. The top things are anxiety, daytime sleepiness, headaches, especially in the morning. Okay, so that's great. Hold on. That's great. Well, I'm glad we have this podcast to figure out that I am going to be one of those people. But I think the only thing I can do now is, yes, go get help. Just go get help. Just go get help. But Amy Mallon, realtor to the stars, I'm going to need you to find me a new home. It's not the time to buy one. Interest rates are through the roof. The price of eggs hasn't come down. And financially, it's one of the worst things I could ever do. But I think we might have to clear out the juju, or I got to sage the fucking house because my dad's spirit and ghost right now is just sucking me dry. It's just weighing on me. He's sitting on my chest every night while I'm in bed just trying to watch White Lotus and relax. And he's like, oh, no, you're not. You're going to think about me all the time because you have all my fucking problems. Fuck. All right, well, there you go. I mean, maybe if I get a CPAP machine, I'll really just shed the pounds. So there's an upside to that. Okay, let's get into the voicemails. And again, if anybody has any health recommendations, please call me. As always, you can call into the hotline, 800-213-7503. Also, this is what I love about living with my 77-year-old mother. So I just opened this on my computer to pull up these voicemails, and my mom has sent me a link. YouTube link. Lady Gaga's satanic ritual on SNL. Yeah, you know somebody in her bunko group at the club sent her that. And I'm going to send, Mom, this is ridiculous. And she's going to go, I'm just saying I like Gaga, but that's a little concerning. Mom, this is ridiculous. She's going to go, love Gaga, love Abracadabra. I showed her the Abracadabra. She loved it. But now she's, you send her one video that says one thing, and she's like, but it could be true. I don't know. Illuminati. I don't know. All right, let's get to the voicemails.
Hey, Heather. This is Maria, currently in Dallas, Texas, but I am from Jackson, Mississippi. Really craving a Nuke's Club sandwich and a crisp Diet Coke from the fountain. But I just wanted to say, absolutely not to not being able to behave around men that I find attractive. I don't know what it is. I completely lose all my wits, all of my personality. I become an absolute lump on a log. But if there's a man I'm not attracted to and I don't like, he falls in love. 5 minutes. Give him 5 minutes and he's in love with me. So, any sort of advice that you can give a girl trying to impress the men she actually likes and leave the ones she doesn't behind, let me know. Love and light. Bye.
I'll tell you what. What I have learned from the interwebs is the men you like, you have to pay no attention to. But then also the men who you don't like, who like you also have to pay no attention to. So we basically have to walk around completely aloof all the time towards men. Now, one might say, wow, Heather, look in the mirror. Can you give that advice when you went after Jeff? I went after Jeff in a way that was like, hey, I just liked him. I don't know what it was. It was an energy. I'm an empath. I felt it. I locked eyes. I said, that's the one. I don't know. When I look back, I don't know if what it was, but I kind of went after him. Or at least I opened the conversation. I tried to flirt with him that night, and then he tried to take home my friend. It was a whole thing. Anyways, oh God, you're asking the wrong person, because if I even have a work crush, I act like a loser. Dude, I have a work crush on Willie Geist. The whole time I was at the Today Show, and again, no disrespect to his wife because she is such a lovely gal, but it was, you gotta have a work crush. You gotta have a work crush. Even when I worked in restaurants and I was actively dating Jeff and I loved him, it would be like a busboy when I was bartending. My bar back was a 4'11" man from Ecuador, and I would flirt. You know what I mean? I would just flirt. Because you got to have a work crush. Everybody knows that. It's innocent. It's all fun. It's just a work crush. Everybody calm down. But anybody that I've ever really liked, I have not known how to behave around them. I don't know what that is. If you like them, you just have to pretend that they don't exist. If they make eye contact with you at a bar, you just kind of cross your eyes and look blind. I don't know what else to say. And every relationship expert on the TikToks says, you pay them no mind. You never text a man back. You never do this, never do that. And at some point you have to say, well, if you refuse to communicate with them, they'll think you either died or are actually a sociopath. You do have to communicate with these people. But how to behave around them? Girl, I would be on a beta blocker and have about 17 glasses of wine and then hope that they wouldn't care if I was outside after said 17 glasses of wine trying to bum a smoke off somebody. And you know me, I only have a cigarette once a year. That's a lie. I have a cigarette once a quarter when I'm out of the country. And I go out of the country about once a quarter. Behaving around men. You know what they say? Women who make history rarely, what do they say? I don't even know the phrase. Well-behaved women rarely make history. Well-behaved women rarely make history. That's right. Oh, you're going to show up in a good outfit with your teeth brushed and personal hygiene on lock, and you think you're going to do something with yourself? Nope. Oh, you got a blowout and you thought a guy's going to ask for your number? Nope. And I don't know what it is. It's like the law of attraction says if you're at your worst self. I have been hit on in line at Chipotle after a hot yoga class when my clothes were actually sopping wet. I have been hit on during an eczema outbreak. I have been hit on when I had active food poisoning at an urgent care. In the waiting room. Have I been hit on the red carpet at Vanity Fair? No. Have I been hit on when I just got fresh extensions, nails done, hair done, everything did? No. What is it? Every woman says this. I looked terrible. I was at my worst. Had my hair up in a greasy bun. I was running to go get, sour cream at Whole Foods. I didn't even have a bra on. I had just come from a spray tan. And I got hit on. But then when we put on the Ritz, where did they go? I don't know. Where do you go, my lovely? That was a great song. So I think what you have to do is if there's a guy you like, you have to go into it and act like you have lost your vision. You can't see. You go up to the bar, kind of pat around, wear big sunglasses. I mean, just literally go blind. I don't know what to tell you, except you should pretend that you cannot see him. And then once he approaches, because he says, oh, there's a handicapped woman, I need to help. Then you take off your glasses and he can see you have perfect eyelash extensions and a perfect wingtip, and it's flawless. And then you pay him attention. But if you go into a space where there is a gentleman that you like, you act like you're not on this planet. I don't know. Maybe I need to get into beta blockers. A lot of people have talked about it and a lot of people are on them. And I've never taken one, but I think I'm going to get a prescription and see if that will help with my sleep apnea. Well-behaved women rarely make history. So you know what you need to do? Next time you know he's going to be at a bar, come in with a loaded weapon. I'm kidding. Come in with, what if you're just like, Heather told me in order to get attention from the men I like, I've got to do something insane. I'm just kidding. These are jokes, allegedly. Oh, my God. Now, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The days you look the worst, you get hit on the most. The days you look the best, no one talks to you. If you like a guy, they don't talk to you. If you don't like a guy, he's in your window. That's actually called a peeping Tom. So definitely call the authorities on that. But how to act around men, I couldn't tell you. And even when people flirt now, it takes a second. Like if I'm out, it's always older men that will flirt with me now because they can sniff out my sleep apnea. They're like, oh, yeah, CPAP to CPAP, you want to fuck? And I'm like, I actively have on a wedding ring. No, I don't. But they just have nothing to lose. But I don't know I can't pick up on when people are flirting with me nowadays. I just think you have to act insane. If you act insane or act like you've just recently had some sort of some sort of brain injury, I think that's the best way to lure in the men that you want. Because if you show up your best self, if you show up like you've done something for you, or you're taking care of yourself, or you're exercising, or you're putting time, thought, and effort into who you are as a person, they don't want it. You pull up to the club in a car with like no hubcaps, you throw the keys at the valet, and you just yell "Bombaclat" and walk inside in literally a pair of sweatpants, they're going to call you. That sentence made no sense, but I know that somebody who's listening also connects with the image. You're figuring it out. Just do less and you'll receive more. Okay, let's get to the next voicemail.
Hi, Heather. This is longtime listener, first-time caller. I don't have an absolutely not, but I just, had a question. So coming to see you live in a couple weeks with my girlfriends and two of their birthdays. So it's a little birthday celebration. And I'm just wondering, what's the vibe for your live show? Is this like eat half a gummy, drink 3 glasses of red wine, or is this like drink a whole bottle of wine, no gummy, go to a nice dinner. Just trying to figure out what the vibe is and, how to pregame your live show. Excited to see you. Thanks.
This is what I love. An action step gal right here who's trying to figure out how to set herself up for success for the evening. Well, I want you to know that this is my birthday weekend. So I'm bringing hot fire energy to DC this weekend. We have a show Thursday night, and the show Friday night, I believe, is sold out. So we still have tickets to the Thursday night show. So come, because they're both going to be outrageous. I would say gummy. I'd say half a gummy, 2.5 milligrams, and a glass of white wine and a great dinner. Because you want to come to the show and absorb what I'm saying, enjoy it, have audience participation. I've had people that love to be on the front row, and then when I like to do audience participation, crowd work with them, they panic or they're way too fucked up, and they knew that I was going to want to chit chat with them. So I say come in whatever giggly, fun spirit. Just come in a giggly, fun spirit. If you know that you're going to be coming off an Adderall that day and kind of a little bit of a cunt, and you're jawing and you're stressed out, maybe don't take an Adderall that morning. God forbid we do one day of work without methamphetamines. I prefer a half a gummy glass of wine these days. Sometimes the booze really just Scarlet takes a tumble. I've always said, make sure you're coming in on a full stomach, because a lot of y'all come straight from work and then you don't eat and then you drink and then, you're a mess. So I would say the vibes are going to be fun, participation, glitter, cheetah print, giggles, fun, curse words, fun, silly, fun, and more fun. But you got to come correct mentally. And here's the thing. That's a lesson for me. All right. I've clearly been going through it. So I got to come and clear my brain. I'm going to spiral the rest of the day and call about 10 sleep clinics to try and get in to figure out. And you know what? I don't have time. I don't have fucking time to go to a sleep clinic. That's the problem. I don't even have time to fix the fucking problem. I just need to set up the podcast cameras in my room, record me sleeping all night, and then send it to somebody. Can I do a Zoom sleep session? I do not have time to go to a clinic. I'm not going to be here for the next 3 months. And then we're going on the cruise. We're going on the cruise. Oh, man, I forgot we're going on the cruise. I'll tell you what, the vibe on the cruise is going to be so much fun. Little quick conversation about the cruise. A lot of y'all have been on the wait list to get these premium balcony penthouse rooms. I'm telling you, just come, get an interior room. Those are, I believe, the only rooms left. Get an interior room and just fucking have a blast. They're going to be less expensive. There is not going to be a dull moment. There is going to be so much fun on this cruise. I understand it's a pricey, expensive investment, but when I tell you, you're going to have a vacation, you're going to go to the Bahamas, you're going to see shows every night, you're going to see other comics who are a blast. We've got DJs, we've got live music. It's going to be sisterhood. It's going to be camaraderie. It's going to be hot babes. If you're single guys, come on the cruise, find the love of your life, or just get dick down. Do what you want. It's a free country. We're on the international open waters, but the cruise is going to be so much fun. And it's funny because I know that my audience is a mixture of young gals and then moms who are fuck this. If I'm getting out and I'm doing a vacation, I mean, the balcony rooms sold like that. But we have interior rooms that are still going to be fantastic. The food on the ship is great, and we are going to have a blast. But I do have to say, everybody, y'all need to come and just show up for fun. And here's the thing. I even see in the Facebook group, everybody's trying to plan everything to the T, and they're all panicked because as women, we don't know how to calm down and just enjoy ourselves. If we're going on vacation, if every split second is not scheduled to the T, then we don't know what to do. You just need to just book the ship, get on the ship, and let it rip. Book the ship, get on the ship, and let it rip, bitches. Don't overthink it. Okay, we're all overthinking it right now. Don't overthink it. Just get on the boat. There will be reminders of all the activities. There'll be signs that say, Logan Crosby performing here, 8 p.m., get your ass up. And also, if you get on this boat and you finally sit your ass down on a lawn chair and get that first sip a pina colada on your lips and say, I don't want to do shit. I want to lay here and laugh my ass off and watch this DJ play jams till 4 a.m., you do you. I'm not going to be upset. This is your trip. I'm working. I'm so fucking pumped to be on this cruise, meeting everybody, hugging everybody, like doing the damn thing. We're going to have a fucking blast. But you come and just vibe out. Vibe out. As women, we do not have, and I know that there's a ton of dudes coming and there's, the gay guys are coming and they're also type A trying to plan everything. But I think we all just need to go, okay, I've done the hard work. Tina has done the hard work. All the other performers are doing the hard work. You guys just come and relax. If there's one thing that I can do, it's fucking entertain. And y'all just need to sit back. So when you come to the shows, have the same energy. Let me do what I do, which is for you. And you come with a great attitude and high vibrations, baby, and we're going to have a fucking great time. Now, I will say, Saturday is my birthday, and my last show in DC is on Friday. So if anyone wants to bring gifts, I will absolutely take them. But either way, high vibrations on the high seas. We still have rooms. It's not too late to book. Just come. If you're in college, come with your girlfriends. Also, when you come to the shows, keep an eye on the slideshow that happens before the show. We have a lot of interactive things. You can win a chance to be added to the VIP meet and greet, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of fun things happening. But so many girlies are stressing about like all the things they have to prep for the cruise. Just show up. Bitch, if you got a bathing suit, a sarong, a sensible sandal, and a glass of white wine, what else do you need? We're going to have enough tampons, Zofran. The merch is cute. We got braiding stations. We got bars. We got unlimited drink packages. We have entertainment all day, every day. And if you make it to all of it, you're an overachiever. If you don't make it to a single fucking thing and you close the curtain on your room and you just want to sleep for 4 days, also, that's fine. I know that as women, we rarely, and I know there's a lot of dudes, shout out to Kane who listens to this. I know there's a lot of people here who don't ever get the time to take the time off for themselves. So I respect that. But I want you to come and just participate in all of it, any of it, none of it. Just come have a great time. And if you want to just fucking sleep, I might find you on the Lido deck with my new CPAP that I'm apparently going to have to fucking see if I can get on the black market because I don't have time to go to a sleep study. But the vibes of the shows, let me tell you what, this has been my favorite tour yet. I am loving just getting even more raw and real with y'all. I've had such a blast. All the audiences have been fantastic. Y'all have been coming out in droves. Oh, and one more housekeeping thing before I let you go. The tickets went on sale for the fall tour and all the other added shows that we added. I got so much kickback, even though I tried to explain how to join the VIP. A lot of y'all want the meet and greet tickets. If for any reason you didn't get it when you went to close out on Ticketmaster or on whatever website you were buying the tickets on, just call your box office and I'm pretty sure that they can add you to that. There was a lot of confusion, but I want you to know coming out to the shows means the world to me, and we've been having so much fun, and I cannot wait to celebrate Pisces season in DC this week. You know my ass is going to be at Tate every fucking day, getting that halloumi breakfast sandwich and a iced vanilla latte. So I'll see you girls at the Tates. But anyways, remember, well-behaved women rarely make history. So get that CPAP, book that ticket to the cruise, book the tickets to the shows, be kinder to ourselves. And remember, if it takes you 6 fucking times to get your neck done, it is what it is. And I got to go sage my house. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, you can call into the hotline, 800-213-7503, and get your tickets at heatherontour.com and heatheratsea.com for that final cabin. Bye. Ciao bella. Arrivederci.